How's it going, guys? And welcome back to a new episode here with some Pod Limit Oma content, jumping immediately into the action, playing two tables of Rush and Cash on GG Poker, flopping bottom set with the straight blockers on table number one. Pretty good board for my three betting range, where I will have a lot of aces, some two pairs, nut flush draws. Gonna do a lot of betting on this board. I think we can even get away by betting our entire range just because we are doing so well. And on table number two, in the meantime, I open raised the button, pretty standard. Flopping a pair and a gutter on a mono board. And misclick on table number one, guys. Misclick. Flopping top pair. I think I will opt for a lead out now on table number one. My hand is not good enough to check call or check raise. And there we go. This is also a board where from the small blind, I could have some leads just because I have a pretty tight calling range there, which will connect pretty well to that board, I would say. Table number two, my opponent bets the turn. I think I'm going to call once. And with the jack, king jack, I think we have some showdown value now. We're going to take that and losing against a flush. Pretty wide call there in the small blind. Not really a hand that plays great as a call, in my opinion. And table number two, jack, jack, 9, 7. I could consider open raising this, I would say, if I have like tighter players on my left. But here we have two players who play a lot of hands. At least their VPIP is over 30. So I'm going to let that one go. I got my coffee with me. And I'm going to play some PLO today, guys. If you guys are playing yourself as well this game or anything else at the moment, let me know in the comments, guys, what you have been up to recently. What is your game of choice? Table number one. I will start with a bet. I'm going to go for half pot. And table two. This is a defend in the big blind. It's not an amazing hand. I think easy to overvalue a hand like this, especially because the pocket pair is very low, but against a single opponent. Very easy defend. And on the flop, king 10-9. We don't have enough equity to call. We don't have good blockers to consider check raising. So I'm gonna just let that one go. Ace jack 9 deuce. Table number one. A lot of tight players on my left, but this hand is definitely too weak to consider playing. 10-10, 8-4. This player has a 33 VPIP. I think he likes to play a lot of hands, so keep that in mind. And table number one, I think we could consider raising here, especially because the button has only a VPIP of 20. In other words, most likely he's going to do a lot of folding. That's, of course, a good result because we're either taking the pot down pre-flop or I'm going to play a pot heads up in position. Jack 8-4. I'm going to go for a check back with my hand. Table number two is actually pretty loose open. We do have a couple of tighter players at the table, so in that sense, I think it's okay. And table number one, I'm going to check back once more, actually. Do have to bet on the river. Table number two, let's see, call or shove. Call or shove. I'm going to make the call. Beautiful turn. Turning the straight. My opponent gets it in 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. There we go. He probably has a flush draw, I would say. Running it twice. Okay, let's do it. Let's win the first one. The first one, guys, always good to win that one. Unfortunately, do lose the second one. But it is what it is. We got it in well. Let's see how my opponent played the hand. What did he do? So my opponent 3-betting king, queen, jack, 9 double. And then he flops top pair, 2 backdoor flush draws. I think he played it fine on the pre-flop and flop. Turn is a bit more questionable, I would say. Table number 1. I think both bet and check is okay. I like a bet a little bit more. We have like pretty good blockers to my opponent's continuing range. 8-8 deuce deuce in the big blind. Let's see. Definitely a playable hand. Table number 1. I'm going to check on this A-side board. Check call. Popping a flush draw there. Turning the flush. Let's check it. And I do go for a bet now. Half pot. Taking it down. Table number 2. My opponent bets flop pretty big and keeps barreling the turn. I'm going to let this one go now. Jack 10, 7, 6 single. Easy fold. Let's keep tagging players in the meantime. A7, 5, 5. I'm gonna make the call. Definitely a bit loose. Definitely a bit loose. And I will start with a bet on the flop. Expect a lot of folds there. We take it down. Jack 8, 6, 3 double. Too weak of a hand. Even though the big blind is pretty tight, the hand is too marginal, and we also have a short stack on the button. So let's just fold that one. 10, 9, 7, 7 single. Interesting. I'm going to fold. It is tempting with these two players on my left. 6 deuce deuce. I will start with a small bet. My overpair. Table number 1. Full range check against a player like this. Betting small again, table number 2. Trying to get value from queens, jack X. Some protection against a flush draw potentially. Pocket aces, table number 1. Very nice. 9, 8, 7, easy fold. We're going to 3-bet against the under the gun player with ace, 10, 5. We can bet, we can check. I'm going to start with a half pot size bet. If he raises, we cannot fold with the overpair, gutter, backdoor, not flush draw. That's something to consider there. Ace 10, 9, 7. Interesting. Gonna squeeze this one. Do think I have some fold equity against this player. There he goes. Let's take a moment to look into this pre-flop situation where I decide to squeeze ace 10, 9, 7 single from the small blind against a cutoff raise and a button call. Now, in the actual situation, we have mixed stack sizes. The cutoff is very deep. The button is more shallow, and I am somewhere in the middle. Now, I don't have this mixed stack size solution available in PLO Trainer at the moment, but I'm going to look into a 100 big blind solution and also different stack size to get an idea of whether a hand like myself is actually strong enough to consider this. So let's open up the categories on the top and look at the unpaired single suited hands. And I mean, the first thing that we see is very clearly that this hand class is almost never going to squeeze, like 98% of the time we're even going to fold. Suited to the ace, if we have a connected Broadway hand, there are some squeezes at 8% clip. But other than that, we're pretty much never squeezing. Interesting. Let's filter for ace 10, 9, 7 single. And we do see that this hand, if I filter for single suited specifically, We're either going to fold or call. Calling is a very low frequency, low EV play. So I think folding in this rake environment is usually the play. Now let's see if something changes if we play, let's say, 50 big blinds only. Let's open up that solution. We're going to squeeze more often, 8.2%. Let's go to the categories one more time. We do see still that the pattern of this category is to fold most of the time. Nothing really looks to change there. Ace 10, 9, 7, again, just a fold. How about if we are deeper? So let's take a look at a 200 big blind solution to give you guys a complete picture of this hand. Ace 10, 9, 7 single. At this stack depth, there is a little bit of calling with the single suited nut suit variation. We're squeezing the double suited variation. But other than that, it seems that my preflop squeeze is way too loose. And I made a mistake preflop. I'm playing a heads up pot against the button. I think that is a good idea. We flop a gutter backdoor flush draw. Not a great flop. I think checking the flop is the way to go. And table number 1. This is a board where I'm using a full pot bet sizing as my only sizing. I'm going to put like king, king, jack, jack in a very difficult spot by potting. Table 2, check fold, unfortunately. But I have like the ace-ace advantage on table number 1, where I can put a lot of pressure on his range and get value with that combination. That hand has enough raw equity on the flop against my opponent's range to bet and stack off, but doesn't necessarily play amazing on turns and rivers. So that is a reason to use a large sizing and basically play a one street game that way. Ace 9, 5, 3 double. I'm gonna let that one go, even though we do have the big blind there. Table number 1, easy open with 3 Broadways. Flopping a rep. Bet or check, both reasonable. I'm gonna go for a bet. And table number 2, we're limping in with the cash drop. And table number 1, sorry. We do turn the straight. Pretty nice, pretty nice. I'm gonna go for half pot. Trying to keep in the low straight draws. Unfortunately, table number 2, we're gonna let it go. Ace 9, 8, 8. Reasonable hand to open. Depends a bit on this player. He never 3-bets so far, so we're gonna raise. The last thing we want with this hand is facing a 3-bet, because then we have to fold. Eight, 7, 7, 5. Table 1. Very tempting, very tempting. These players are not super tight, so I'm actually going to let it go. And table 2, bet flop. I think that's makes a lot of sense on the turn. It's not an amazing turn, but we do have a diamond, so I'm actually going to pot it. River is the 6. Okay. Gotta fold. Table 1. Continuously bet the flop. Is 10, 9, 9. Easy open from middle position. And we do take it down. Thinking 8 deuce will be a fold against the raise. Triple kings. See if we can see a flop, which we do. Go for pair gutter. Turning the straight. I'm gonna check again. Table number 2, I will fold. Unfortunate river on table number 1. Let's see if we can get to showdown. we do, and we do win. Nice. Jack 10 9 9. Easy open, table number 2. Jack 10 10 8 single. I'm gonna raise, but it's definitely close. It's definitely close. And queens in the small blind. Gonna fold. Wow, what a flop. So let's see. We are 3-way. We flop a rep. I'm gonna check this one. Like, I would bet a stronger variation of my hand. And prefer to check back with this combination. We will call against the turn bet. We got the queens as outs. We got a lot of other straight outs, of course. Let's see if we can get there. There we go. Very nice that we have the 10s as well, blocking queen 10. So the goal now is to get value from a hand like kings, ace king. There are two straights out there. So I'm going to size down a little bit. There we go. My opponent makes the call. Very nice. That hand would probably call also against a larger bet. Maybe I missed out on some value. Ace king on both tables, taking it down on table number 1, table number 2. Against this player, I will call. I will call. A hand like this could sometimes be a 3-bet bluff, but I don't expect a lot of fold equity against this player. So we're just going to call, flopping middle pair and a nut flush draw. We can go both ways on the flop, bet or check. The problem if we better get check raised, we're in a tricky spot. If we better get called, we're only really happy on diamond turns. So I'm going to check back. And table number 1, 2 pair. We're going to check. My opponent bets small. Definitely want to raise now. Definitely want to raise. I'm going to go for a pot size raise. And table 2. Let's check again. Or table 1. Table 1, 2 pair. We do have the spade in our hand. Let's see. We are 4-way. Don't think I have a lot of showdown value with this 2 pair hand. I'm going to turn my hand into a bluff. Because I have the spade. Okay, that didn't work. That didn't work. Pretty light call, I would say. But it was a good call because I was bluffing. Aces and ace king 8-4. Pretty close. I'm gonna call and I'm gonna 3-bet. Small bet by my opponent. I'm gonna just fold it. At table number 1. Check back. Interesting turn. My opponent betting half pot. You could have queens, jacks, sometimes a 6. But there are still plenty of bluffs also in his range. So we're going to call and decide on the river what to do. Very quick bet. Very quick bet. I think his timing tell makes him a bit stronger. Like, if he's bluffing, I think he would definitely consider on the river whether he wants to continuously bluff or not. So I'm actually going to give it up. Also, don't block any of the pairs on the board. 9-6-6-4 double. Mucking. King Jack 8-5 could be an open race if we can. Small blind seems to be pretty tight. I'll give him a yellow tag. Queen 10-7-5 in the big blind. Let's see. This will be a fold against early position. Two playable hands. We face a 3-bet. Easy call in position. 2-pair gutter. Interesting. Table number 1, we also call against a 3-bet. Table 2, we're gonna call. No reason to raise. Our hand is too strong to fold. Very tight. Interesting. Table number 1, I will call. Interesting on the turn. Like we do have a7. Ace jack. We do have the ace. I'm gonna get it in. Not super happy. But he does have the rep. Okay. Nice. I was expecting a hand like this to pot on the turn. We take it down. And table number 1, we backdoor into a boat. Let's think about this. I think he is very weak. I do think he's very weak. I'm gonna bet very small. Maybe do something. Ace 10-7-5 rainbow. Gonna fold, and my opponent does make the fold on table number 1. Experimenting a bit with the smaller bet sizings at the moment on various streets. Trying to see if that works or not. How my opponents react to it. Easy raise call on table number 1. Flopping a pair and a wrap on a mono board. I'm gonna call once. Turning 2-pair. Interesting. Check. So he does check back the turn. So what do we do? What do we do? I'm gonna go for a small block bet. Don't think my opponent is necessarily going to bluff a lot if I check. And he will definitely not bet hands like this. I mean, this was not a hand I would expect him to have. Then number 2, I defend the big blind. Pretty good flop. Top 2 pair and the nut flush draw. My opponent bets very large. Therefore, I'm just gonna call. By betting large, my opponent basically saying he has a bluff or a strong hand. Against that range, I'd rather just call. Bets big again. Very interesting. Definitely calling. Jack river. He probably has me ace king. Yeah. If I know that he is betting hand like that on the flop, then I should definitely raise. I'm gonna note that. But in the meantime, beautiful flop on table number 1. Pair, wrap, flush draw. No action, unfortunately. Nice. Would have been a nice run out. Okay, look at this one. Where is the hand? So wisdom. I'm gonna mark him. Table 2, we call against a 3-bet, flopping a gutter and the king of spades. My opponent checks. Interesting. I'm gonna bet. No showdown value, but we do have some sort of blockers. Okay, so this guy was c-betting very mergy. Button versus big blind for 3/4 pot. So once you know that your opponent bets hands like that for that sizing, then my hypothesis of I'm going to call because I think he either has a strong hand or a bluff is not true. And that makes my strategy next time different against him. Because now I would know, okay, there's a lot more reason suddenly to raise ace 5 there with the nut flush draw. King 10, 8, 5, table number 1. I'm going to raise, but it's a marginal raise for sure. Table 2. Call or raise, call or raise. Let's call. Ace turn. And table 1, 3-way, top pair, gutter. Gonna go for a check. Table 2 is now a fold. Folding table number 1 against a large turn probe. King Queen Jack 4 rainbow, fold against a button. Open raise. Ace 6, 6, 5 double. Definitely hand strong enough to raise. We do have some short stack players at the table, which is not amazing. We do face a squeeze. Gonna have to make the call. Gonna have to make the call. Money will go in. Okay, we need a good flop, guys. Something with a 6 or something with diamonds. Very interesting. I have to get it in here. Open ender and a flush draw. Let's hope the flush draw is live, which it is. Oh my god. Damn it. Jeez. That's very unfortunate. Got it in pretty well there. This bet on the flop is definitely loose, I would say. So we got it in on the flop with 55% equity. Yeah, that is it is what it is. Losing a big pot there. Queen Jack 9-9 double. Gonna open raise. If this player raises, I'm just gonna call. And I will also defend in the big blind on table number 1. Ace Jack 6, 6. Gonna lead out with my potential future blockers. This board, I will have the majority of the 2 pairs and sets. Table number 2. Gonna call against the bet. Flush draw. There we go. Pretty good turn. Table number 1. Will definitely continuously bet now. My opponent calls. We're gonna bet. We are gonna bet here. 41. 41. And we do get it through. Nice. Table 2, we have the flush now. We unblock aces and kings, which is definitely good. I'm going to pot it. Trying to get as much value as possible against that range. He's also pretty tight, it seems, so not unlikely that he has aces or kings. Easy open, table number 1. And table 2 is a fold with the rainbow variation. Pocket aces, very nice. I'm going to limp raise against a Vladimir. Check the flop, too many blockers basically. Turn. Check again. River. I'm just going to give him room to bluff. There we go. Gonna raise to 6 against a Vladimir. There we go. Nice. Queens. Wow. Why didn't the money go in on the flop? That is very surprising. Table 1, easy defend. Big blind against small blind. He checks. He checks. I'm gonna stab half pot. Trying to push out hands like kings, queens, overcards to my hand, basically. Ace, king, 9, 3. Table number 2. Very interesting turn now. Picking up definitely some equity. So the question now is, do we want to pot or check back? Definitely close. Definitely close. If we bet and get raised, it's pretty uncomfortable. Still going to go for it. And table number 2, we're going to check raise against this player. He was c-betting very merged before. We have top 2 pair. Let's get it in. There we go. We're up against the nut flush draw and an ace. Running it twice. Sure, let's do it. It's a very unfortunate first run out and also a second run out. Damn it. Losing both. Losing both. It is what it is. Cash drop. Table number 1. Can we pick up something? King 10, 8, 4 single. Hopefully we can see a flop. Would be nice. Limp. Okay, there we go. 3-way. That's also very nice. Very dry board. Gonna bet. A7, 5, 4 double. Table 2. Open raise. Nice. We take it down. Table number 1. 10 extra big blinds. Okay, table number 2. Face a 3-bet. Gonna call in position. Wow, what a sick flop. Nut flush draw and a wrap. Start with a bet. Against noseless. There we go. Money goes in. Come on. We need to win this one, guys. We're up against 2 pair. We are only a small favorite. Come on. Beautiful. First one we win. Second one, that's... Oh my god. Rivering the boat. Rivering the boat. Look at this 3-bet. Queen 10, 9, 6. Let's see. So 3-bet. 3-bet. Queen 10, 9, 6. Single. Big blind versus EP. Definitely lose that guy. Which is nice. We want to play against these types of players. That's where the winnings often come from. Pocket aces, table number 2. Let's see. Table 1. Gonna fold with the 3 and the deuce in my hand. And Table 2. We can 3-bet, we can call. Both is reasonable there. Not the greatest aces. I mean, unless you flop everything, basically. What a sick flop. Okay, I'm going to start with a small bet. Table 1, loose call. But we have a big blind who plays a lot of hands and also this player. Table 2, we're now going to pot. Another cash drop, table number 1. And Jack 10, 7, 3. Gotta fold it. Ace, Jack, Jack 5. Table 1. This player. Actually gonna limp this hand. His timing on the flop was like, I think he already auto-folded. So therefore, definitely betting the turn. 3 betting ace, jack, jack 10, table 2. Let's see. 6, 6, 3. 3-way, I will check. Table 1, jack fold. Pot size bet. Oh, okay. That's a fold. That is a fold. Pocket queens. Gotta fold it against the raise. Definitely a playable hand, table number 2. Not a hand to 3-bet with, but definitely strong enough to call. Do face the squeeze. This guy was the guy who was merge betting before. Gonna make the call in position. Flopping an overpair and a gutter. Unfortunately, no flush draw or backdoor flush draw, so SPR is also on the turn. It will be like 70 in the middle, only SPR a little bit over 1. Not a lot of leverage on future streets with my blockers. Unfortunately, gotta let it go. Queen jack 10, 9. Dropping a pair and a flush blocker. Betting. And we do take it down. Table 1. What do we have? Nothing. Beautiful hand, table number 2. At least. Pre-flop. Okay. Pair and a wrap. Interesting. Very interesting. I'm gonna bet. Table 1. I decided to 3-bet against a white player. Gonna check. Start with a check on the flop. Beautiful turn, table number 2. Keep barreling. Check fold, table number 1. Pocket aces. There we go. And pocket aces on the other table. Let's see if we can limp raise. Against the Bella Ciao. Unfortunately, we cannot. Table 1. Gonna bet fold my hand. I think if I want to leverage the ace of clubs, I want to bet the flop. And my hand also doesn't play great on turns if I check. So I'm just going to bet, and we do have to fold against a raise, unfortunately. Aces, there we go. Raising it up from early position. We face a small raise. Beautiful. We're going to come over the top against Yaniv. There we go. Let's see what he has. 10-4-4. Pretty good flop. I'm going to bet $13. We're going to shove it in on the turn. You'll still have kings and queens over 10. And he does fold quickly. Nice. Table 2, open raising with the broadways. Top pair gutter, I will check. Table 1, maybe too quick. Nice turn, table number 2. 2 pair. 2 straights out there, we're just going to call. That's not a good river. It's not a good river because now there's a 4-card straight as well. We're going to get to showdown and lose against a straight. And that's going to wrap it up for today, guys. Hope you did enjoy the session. If you did so, please give the video a thumbs up, subscribe to my YouTube channel, and also check out PLOmastermind.com if you want to learn more about the great game of Pot Limit Oma.